tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Don't you just love that song?
Had me crying. Had me crying.
Wait, pause. Here it comes. Oh, chills every time. Lord.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You tuned in AfterBuzz TV for the show Fox Empire, and this episode was titled "The Devil Quotes Scripture." I'm your host, Bamm Ericsen, and I have Emile Ennis Jr. I have Lina Green, and I have Sofia Stanley.
And tonight, we have a very special guest. If you don't know her, if you don't know her, you will know her. And especially if you've seen the first 2 minutes of Empire, you will definitely know who she is. Her name is V Bozeman. Welcome to the Empire After Show. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's just go right in. So let's go into the funeral. Okay, first of all, well, I know you are a huge Gladys Knight fan.
Absolutely.
Did Gladys sing What a Fellowship?
I mean,
Yes.
did she?
I felt like I was in
Did
church.
she sing? No, she sang.
No, she did.
What a fellowship.
Yes, she did. Leaning on the everlasting arms.
Yes.
I was.
Okay. Funeral had me going with Gladys. What did you guys think about so once we get to the funeral, Cookie speaks with her sister. I knew we were going to see Tasha Smith a little bit more at some point, but she's the only one who she told about the feds. And so now Lucious has got an insight from Kitty Boo Boo about being followed. And so what do you guys think about this as far as now this whole feds thing? What do you guys think?
I mean, I think it's definitely going to blow over, but I mean, it has something to do with this. I mean, it's going to be something that's a main topic, like what's really going on with the feds. And I guess we'll find that out later. I guess we'll see.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I feel like this episode, to a certain extent, Cookie isn't doing her job. Why the hell did you tell your sister? Go ahead, Bam.
I agree.
I don't need to know anything about her. The only way you keep a secret is you don't tell nobody.
Yeah.
Especially not my sister, because my sister can keep a secret because I know she watches, but you don't tell your sister. So I have a feeling that not only is it going to blow up in her face, it also makes me think, who else knows? That I don't like. Cookie, you weren't doing your job.
Okay, no, go ahead.
I was going to say that I wasn't even concerned about the conversation. I was just looking at those hats because my mom be wearing those like huge church hats thinking she's stunning on everybody and looks a hot mess. Continue.
He's like,
You better leave them Baptist women alone.
you know what really stuck out to me with that funeral was Lucious showing up in a white suit. What does that say about his character? Like in an all-white suit at a funeral for someone who is like his best friend.
Okay, now go ahead, Bam.
And also, why was Lucious sitting in the pulpits?
Because
he gave the eulogy, right?
Because not only did he give the eulogy, but because he thinks he's God,
Yeah,
and at minimum, if he's not God, he's definitely the pastor of his flock.
Yeah.
Let's just jump back 2 seconds. He didn't even tell Cookie details regarding her own cousin's funeral. Again, he is so godly that he thinks he has the right to be like, no, baby, don't worry, I got it handled. A, we're not babies. Right? You're like, I'm not your baby, I'm your ex-wife, number one. 2 seconds ago, you weren't even being nice to me, and now you're not giving me details. It shows that he's egomaniacal, and he literally thinks the world revolves around him, including the funeral of a man that he shot dead in the face.
Yeah, and I thought when she asked him, he probably didn't even have it planned. It wasn't even planned yet, and I think he was just like, oh, I don't know, and then planned
I think
it.
he did have it planned.
It was.
He was in the process of planning. I think he just doesn't. He's just leaving Cookie out of the loop. One, because it was like in the funeral, he said certain things strategically since he's under investigation. Like, if I'm at a funeral, even if I was a prostitute or whatever I was in my lifetime, I don't want you starting my funeral eulogy with, he was an alcoholic, a gambler, and degenerate. It's like, what the hell? Say something kind about me. Say something nice, like leave a nice legacy. Even if everybody in the funeral knows it, you don't badmouth the person in the coffin.
Yeah.
But I guess I have a question for you guys. Is it possible that even though he killed Bunky, that the reverence and the love that he was expressing at the eulogy was real?
Yes, I believe it was real, but there was also, it was real, but then he also had, it's what you call the guilty conscience. He's dead and he feels a little bit guilty for it. So, you know, anytime that you lose someone, no matter what they did, but if you have something to do with their death, at some point the guilty conscience is going to come in like, oh, damn, at some point. So I felt that there was partial remorse. What do you think?
It was absolute remorse. But Lucious is a lion. And he has no sense of regard if anyone tries to threaten his empire. And that's just how he feels about it. So that justifies him in his mind.
Speaking of threatening the empire, so when they were at what we call in the Black community the wake, when Cookie was went to see the body before service, when Lucious goes to confront her, he says, you know, you bored my 3 kids.
Can I do the quote?
Yeah, go ahead.
You can play country John with anyone else but me. You're the mother of my children. Irregardless of what has happened, Cookie, I love you. You are my family, but I will stop at nothing to destroy my enemies.
That's exactly right. I was going to piggyback off of what V said. You got a certain, like, you want to be invincible, and you got a certain number of years left. You're going to do whatever you have to do. Killing someone, taking down family members, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And that's him,
But
Lucious.
I guess, and it's funny, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, and I think it really has to do with not only what V said, but V's song, What is Love? Again, I guess my question is, can he still love Bunky and possibly all the other members of his family, but still take them out, literally and figuratively, if he has to?
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I think the best thing that he did during that eulogy is he masked the lie in the truth. Everything he was saying about Bunky was the truth as it related to Bunky and his family and how they built their empire.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the reaction to Cookie when Lucious said, I love you? She had a moment where she kind of threw her head back like, did I just hear what I just heard?
I think she wanted to hear that. I think that's something that she's been like, does he still love me? Like, after all we've been through, does he still feel that way about me? I think that's something.
You think so?
The reaction, and Tyrese, this character, like, she's playing the hell out of this character. That reaction seemed like, we 2 characters in this, and when you said that, that threw me back. Like, it threw her back. Like,
I don't.
You have to remember, too, Cookie was left suspended in jail. Like, as far as him, you know, Lucious and her character, she was just left suspended as a woman. She always loved Lucious and how it all like turned out for him to like abandon her, and she still has all these feelings. This is her husband. This is the father of her children. Like, she got out, probably still, like, she lived that every single day when he moved on, every single day, working in the world, being this big entity that he is, and she's still kind of left where it all ended, you know?
I think that she does love Lucious, and I think they genuinely love each other, but there's a difference between loving someone and still wanting to get back. I don't think Cookie wants no chance in hell in getting back with him in that kind of relationship. Although it's interesting how the dynamics of their relationship and how they kind of flirt with each other, but then the next minute they kind of tell each other F off.
Well, because and I think that V brought it up, and it's almost obvious in their names.
Yeah.
They're lions.
Yeah.
Lions in terms of how they make love, and only lions, it's only appropriate with lions. They fight to make love, right? Like, literally, as a lion, as a male lion, you don't pick like the weakest lioness. You pick the strongest for a multitude of reasons. One of which is it's the lioness that actually goes out and hunts, number one. Number two, in order to make sure to ensure the legacy of your pride in your genealogy, you need to make sure that you mate with the strongest, most intelligent, i.e. ability to hunt person that you have. That obviously is Cookie.
Yeah.
It is not Boo Boo Kitty. That's why her name is Boo Boo Kitty.
I also thought Boo Boo Kitty was out of line this whole entire episode. For the first one, when she questioned Lucious at the board meeting and said about rapper Fofo. When she at the board meeting said, well, why do you care? Because you dropped him from the label. And then when she walked in the office when he was speaking with Vernon and saying, and when she interrupted the meeting, I personally think that Kitty, because Cookie is around, she's watching how Cookie operates, and so she's trying to change her ways to be somewhat like Cookie. And you see the response that Lucious had when he turned the chair around and then he looked her in the eye and then gave her the answer. She's overstepping her boundaries, I think.
I just think, I don't think she's overstepping her boundaries. I think that's still her job, and it's different in the relationship. You separate your relationship and your career, and it is unfortunate that they are working together. But in that regard, she is worried about the fact that one of her biggest clients you dropped without even talking to me. And I don't think she's upset that he dropped Fofo as a client. I think the issue is he had no conversation with her at all. Even though he's the owner of the company, it doesn't matter. Like, if that's your position, at least have a conversation with me and we can figure out how to deal with it accordingly.
Excellent point.
And to piggyback after that, she's probably upset too. He has Tyrese's Cookie's back. He has her back. She saw how he did her, and now that's making her think maybe they are trying to get back together.
Oh, that is a good point. I see what you mean with that. Yeah.
Okay, so go on. So let's move forward. So with Cookie now, we have she needed to find Puma, and so when the feds are now involved,
Look at you.
you got a thing for Cuba?
I mean, the man has horses. Like, his name is Puma. She gets out of her car. There is like a huge ranch. And like, let's just talk real numbers. Like, horses are literally more expensive than Ferraris. Just think about that if you know cars, what I'm saying, right? And he had like at least 8 that I could see. And the whole premise of it is to take care of kids, young, impoverished children. Not for nothing, but that little scene with Lucious and giving that kid $100 to stop crying because men don't cry.
Yeah.
Bye. Versus, like, you actually have an organization, and obviously they split somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. Lucious became this mega mogul, and Puma, Dwayne, became some form of a philanthropist. I may eat my words later, but if I was to choose, I mean,
you see the two different dynamics.
Yeah.
Right.
It's interesting.
I mean,
And Dwayne, Puma obviously still has feelings for Cookie, and he even had a moment where he looked at her and he referenced how she took the fall for Lucious.
So how many more people know about that? Like, that seems like.
Well, I feel like in their community, I feel like when something goes down, I mean, I didn't grow up in the hood, but when something goes down, I'm assuming people still know what happened.
The core circle does.
Yeah, but nobody's gonna like speak out and
Yeah.
say, "Oh no, we know Lucious did." No, they just.
also, too, just to go to your point, Lina, or to your question, if you remember one of the flashbacks, basically when Bunky basically came in and told him that someone was coming, Lucious is on the keyboard, and it's Cookie who's literally, like, bagging the drugs, for lack of a better word, because, I mean, that's literally what she's doing. To me, it also was known that I really actually don't think, to a certain extent, Lucious really was a drug dealer. Like, an actual, like, he wasn't, let me rephrase this, he wasn't the businessman. It was really Cookie. Cookie was the boss. Cookie was running game. Cookie, that's why it's Cookie's $400,000 17 years ago.
Yeah.
I can't even do the math quick enough. That's like $1.5 million now in hard cash. I think everyone knows that she was actually the business mogul. And again, I think that's why she reiterates again and again, my company that I built. And lastly, I think that's also why Bunky said he's a punk ass gangster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Very good point.
we'll talk about Lucious gangster-ish
Can I be a moment? Why am I having a moment? Because I'm like, this ain't a Shonda Rhimes show. Do you know something?
I know nothing.
To be like, don't. The minute she was like, that's a good point, I was like, does she know something? All right, proceed.
But you are pointing out some good points.
Yeah.
I was
Put your
about
eyes
to be
down.
like,
She's
you
like,
can spill the tea.
I'm watching it now. I'm watching.
You know?
Okay, so speaking of the song, Cookie did say to the two white producers, hi, I'm the.
Can we just break down this scene? Because
Yes.
that scene was hilarious.
Go ahead.
Andre tells her that they have these producers with like the Jagonians or something like that. Jorgensens or something. Anyway, she goes, hi, I'm Cookie Lyons. I'm the founder of this company. My son Jamal, we need a song for him. They're like, Company Jamal? Who's that? But when Boo Boo Kitty came out there and she started speaking the language.
Norwegian,
She played her.
Oh
so
my
bad.
God.
She did. I don't know at
She
that
played
part.
her
I
all
kind
the
of
way
was
to
like,
the
Kitty,
left.
man.
But I just love Portia's face in the background because Portia's like, oh, okay. I mean, and the thing is, like, Boo Boo Kitty, I don't think she can compete with Cookie, but she definitely can hold her own in certain situations, especially that one.
And I think that was the best way to play it, is that what she needs to do is stop competing with Cookie.
Yeah.
She needs to literally stay in her lane.
Play to your strengths.
Because Cookie can't play in her lane.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what she showed. And I completely agree. I literally tweeted, I feel like a traitor.
Yeah.
Because
No.
that right there, I was like, no, she didn't. And then
Yeah.
she was like, bye, Cookie.
I love the scenes. Honestly, I'm loving those scenes between her and Cookie, though. That other one where she was like, I will cut you and turn around, and she was like, I like that. I was like,
Oh, yeah, she'll go toe to toe with her.
Let's discuss the song. So she wants Jamal to have someone else write a song, and so now this is where Puma comes in, and so Puma gives the same song that he wrote for Cookie 20 years ago, and so now let's go to the dinner. Oh my goodness. Well, let's start with the grace. Okay, so was Cookie wrong to sit in Boo Boo Kitty's chair?
No.
Yes, she
But
was.
No, wait,
No.
listen.
No,
she
yes,
wasn't.
she
She
was.
wasn't wrong to sit there. She was wrong when
To
Boo
not
Boo
get
Kitty said, "This is my chair, not to get up." But the initial sitting in the chair was not wrong.
How's she supposed to know?
But once Boo Boo Kitty informed her that was her chair, she was wrong. However, I think she takes ownership of the fact that it was wrong. But proceed.
The grace I thought was hilarious.
That was honestly one of the best scenes I've seen in a while on television. I mean, like, I was literally cracking up because we paused. I was watching it with my friend. We paused the moment when Boo Boo Kitty does Taraji's face, the way she clicked off, because there was such a sweet moment she was having. She was literally saying, I've been in jail for so long, and I've been on my bended knee praying to God to have this moment with my children, my family.
And how she made Hakeem, she said, boy, give me your hand.
I love how they kept cutting to Lucious too, and he was proud. You
Yeah.
saw that look of like, okay, she coming in here and making things right. And I think that also is a dynamic that is going to be opened up in the future. Like, what's really going on there?
But no, when she called Boo Boo Kitty out, that was classic.
And did you notice how after, when she sat down, she said,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, so.
After making the cross.
Yeah, after making a cross. Let's go into the song performance. So the song plays, and now Lucious, he understands that, oh my God, this is the same song 20 years ago that I did not want to do for obvious reasons. Go.
He couldn't do. He
And
couldn't
see,
do.
again, Cookie's not doing her job. Cookie's overplaying her hand.
I was gonna
Literally, whatever heart Lucious has left, from the first two notes, Cookie broke it. Because initially when the song started to play, the way he looked at Cookie, it wasn't out of resentment. It was literally like, you literally felt that, what? Like, seriously? And then you saw his wheels turning like, oh, you want to play this hard?
But,
because
okay,
before we banter, but to play with my actual heart, you can't do that with someone like Lucious, who, and we're going to talk about this, I think, as the show progresses, he is emotional. You don't go after his emotion with someone who's emotional, who has yet to recognize and come to grips with the fact that he is an emotional person and basically lives his life that way.
Well, I don't think Cookie played her cards, because if the song would have been recorded and it would have been ready to release as a single, Lucious would have got hold of the single and he would have shut it down anyway. So it's best for me, it was more so, okay, now you got Kitty Boo Boo, now let me go after you and let you know that, you know, somebody's checking for me. And so she needed to do that. So I don't think she was playing her cards. I don't think she was overplaying her cards.
Go first.
Now, I was just going to say, I get where you both are coming from. I think she just needs to start thinking about Jamal, because she's still thinking about her relationship with Lucious, or what had been. I don't know about you. I don't even sing. My parents used to always try to get me to
do sing stuff.
Oh, no. But I mean, that's not my passion. I'm not trying to be a singer. That's not
Okay.
what. Yeah. But I don't sing. But I used to hate when my parents used to put me in the spot in family gatherings and say, hey, can you sing for us? Like, it's awful being put on the spot doing that. In this situation, though, like I said, it's not about Jamal's career. because we saw the aftermath, though. He's like, oh, I love that. That would be a great song for John Legend. And if you notice in that scene, too, because ever since last week when you're looking at the faces, when I watched it the second or third time, I was looking at these faces. So we have Boo Boo Kitty. When he was talking to Jamal, before he said for John Legend, Boo Boo Kitty was actually looking over at him, at Jamal, looking like she was proud, which was a different side of her that I haven't seen before, because I can't figure her out yet. So I don't know if she really loves Lucious, if she really loves his family, or she's just trying to get this empire too. And then they went to Rhonda and Andre.
Bored, stiff,
drinking
wine.
Drinking, not even caring.
They have messed those two. Wow.
And then we go to Hakeem with Tiana, who looks super proud. So I'm learning more about these characters just by their facial expressions. But it was right after, which I'm just going to jump and then we'll come back. Right after when Jamal makes his comments and then she said, you're going to go to hell. Lucious's face, if you watch it, he turned and the smirk that he had on his face, it looked like, it reminded me of Scandal, if we have any Scandal fans. When Rowan said, I am the hell in the high water, it looked in that moment, he was saying, go to hell, I am hell, and the high water. Like,
I think, you know what's so funny? I think everything that Cookie is doing is out of a good place. She wanted Lucious to see that her son is good.
No.
He made a song that Lucious could not do himself years ago at the
she
height
just did
of
that out of spite.
I don't think so. I have to agree with you.
She did it to show him your son has talent. He did something that you could not do. And
this is the funny thing.
Hold on. We're split. This is 2-2. V, what do you think?
I think that she has to do she has to make those certain kind of moves, because the more and more Lucious sees himself in his son, the more and more that he'll get the empire, that Cookie would win this whole battle of the empire or whatever. Because that's the problem with Lucious and Jesse. Lucious, he battles with the fact that his son is homosexual, but they're so much alike because deep down Lucious is a creative soul and he's just like Jesse.
Okay.
That's Lucious reincarnate, really. And that's really his heart's core. So the more and more she makes moves like that, and the more and more Lucious sees himself in him, the more the walls will come down when it comes to their relationship. So she needs to make moves.
Can I say something? That's an excellent point. And for that exact reason, I think the exact opposite. In the Lion Kingdom, if you actually have a viable opponent, no, seriously, you take them out.
Yeah.
So that's why, and we won't get into it now, that's why when he realizes, he's like, no, you're afraid of me. Does it make sense? And he is. And he's afraid of him because he can't figure him out. Everyone else in his life he can control. Think about it. He's uncontrollable. We didn't think he was going to shoot someone dead in the face. He's realizing he can't control Jamal. Why? Because he doesn't understand him. He's looking at himself. And if you were looking at yourself, what would you do? If you're trying to build an empire that you control, you got to get rid of yourself. Because you literally don't know what you're capable of. Or more importantly, you do. So literally, and where we have to go there, that's why when they make that break, you all of a sudden start to go, oh shit. Like, what did he just do to Jamal? Because now Jamal really is like him, and Jamal will come at him with everything that Lucious was actually afraid of.
And also,
as a mom, she should have never put her son in that situation, especially when she said there's a price to pay. She never asked him if he wanted to pay the price. She just put him in it. She was like dangling him like a little pawn. That's your son. Let him choose. And he was literally saying, I'm not ready for this. And you made him have to be ready.
Well, the chicken has to come to roost one day or another.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, and love always overrules everything. I understand what you're saying too, though, but the chicken is gonna come home to roost. I think, in my opinion.
No, I'm gonna agree with you.
What I also like is now that Cookie is home. Jamal has been bottling up all these things that he's wanted to say to his dad for a very, very long time. And he probably couldn't have said those things because he doesn't have anyone to back him up. Well, his mama's home. His mom is out of jail. And as long as Cookie keeps throwing all of these things at him, he's able to speak up for himself. Let's talk about when they walked into the piano room. Lucious said, this is don't be nervous because this is something a lot bigger than the little coffee shops that you do. And then look what Jamal said. Jamal said, well, old schoolers like you will probably like this because you're old news. Would he would have said that
Washed
in
up.
episode 1? He said he was washed up. Would he would have said that in episode 1 or 2?
Excellent
But
point,
now
Bamm.
that he has his mom, I mean, he was reading and just going after his dad and not giving a total shit about it. So I get what you're saying, but
Excellent
the fact
point,
that
Bamm.
Cookie now is here, he has someone who has his back, and Cookie has someone who has her back because look at the funeral. It was Jamal who had his arm around his mom, while Kitty Boo Boo had her arm around that little boy I don't like, Jamal Hakeem. So there's
Trust
great
me,
dynamics.
and I know we're gonna do predictions. There will be a split.
I actually
Literally, there will. It's coming next episode. There will be a split between Jamal and Cookie. I guarantee it. If not, episode 4, episode 5, I will bet money on it.
Okay. And then after the song, he goes to the house.
Before that, just have to do the quote at the end. It will lead right into this.
Okay.
He said, "How's it feel to know your little girl could do something that you couldn't? I'm you on steroids." And then Lucious tries to respond with, "A man and his this is celebrating a man and his woman, not a sensitive punk and his bitch." But the thing is, like, he's doing all these things. It's just like what you're saying. I guess I'm going to come full circle with what you were saying too. I don't like that he was put in this situation because of Cookie, but at the same time, he does have all this stuff bottled up, and he does have to confront. And whether or not he wants to admit it, he wants that validation from his father. He's not receiving that validation. So for this moment when he can stand up to his father and say, you know what, F you, I'm going to make this on my own, that was a beautiful moment, which will lead into what you're about to say.
Well, I just want to say, Cookie and Lucious are playing their parts. Lucious needs an heir who's going to step up and rise. They are pushing Jamal to be all that he can be. Cookie's doing the right thing. Lucious, I think that's what's happening. They're playing their parts, and they're going to make Jamal.
Because you're saying the ends
The
justifies the means.
ends don't justify the means.
All right.
Emile, go ahead, break down the scene after when Lucious goes to the house.
Lord have mercy. I tweeted Jesse. I was in tears, God. So this scene, he's sitting with Dora, Michelle as
Pin-up girl.
Yeah, he's sitting with her and he's just chilling, having a nice little night, and then he gets a call from his father, basically saying, "I'm downstairs." And he comes upstairs. And I think the reason why this scene is so emotional because you have so many different things going on. There's a love-hate relationship that we have with Jamal and Lucious. I think he feels for his father because as a gay man, I think he understands that since he's not gay, Lucious, there's no way he can possibly understand what a gay man is feeling.
Right.
So that's why I think I felt so strongly, and I want to have these quotes ready. I felt so strongly when he said, where is it? Lucious comes to Jamal's place, and then back there he was like, "This is where we do the gay love." And then he said, "I've tried to tell you this world is about life or death. You need to toughen up." And he was trying to say a different version of toughen up. He's like, "No, you threw me in the trash can. That's not toughening me up. That's because you hate me." And then he says, "I don't hate you. I don't know you. I didn't bring any woman into this world." And I think the reason why I love this show is because, especially in the black community, the homophobia in the black community, they're always relate, and I hate their shows like, even though I love the show, Real Housewives of Atlanta, that show a certain type of black gay male. And it puts this image in people's mind that's the only representation of a black gay man, that they're these queens, that they're these effeminate figures, instead of an intelligent black man who can be masculine, who can be educated, who isn't like, "Oh yes, honey." Like that's all a character. It's all a character that people put on. Not saying there aren't some gay men like that, because some gay men are like that, and that's not a character. That's them, authentic to them.
In the same way, ironically, that there are also straight men like that.
Exactly.
But proceed.
Yeah. So it's like
That's another conversation right
yeah,
there.
but it's one of those things.
It's another
so
conversation.
you shouldn't just think that every single person is saying, and it's not just with gay, it's even with black people. Some people think all black people are going to be ghetto and trash.
Yeah.
And it's not the case.
No, and
I'm gonna defend. Let me actually defend
Okay.
Lucious just for a second when he goes into the whole thing about I don't know you, I don't understand this. He said that I birthed 3 boys. I didn't birth a woman, and so when I thought about it, as we said, Cookie was the force behind selling the drugs. Cookie, to a certain extent, has a lot of dude-like qualities to her without being a lesbian. She runs the empire. She runs. She's the one that's selling the drugs. It's almost like Love and Basketball. Do you remember how Omar Epps and Sanaa Lathan? She was a girl, but she was an athlete, so she was different. And so there was just certain things that she didn't do that girls that
She's like
girls
a
did.
tomboy.
She's a tomboy. And so to defend Lucious just for a second, Cookie, his wife, is kind of almost like a homeboy in certain ways. So I can see why he doesn't understand Jamal at all, because he's had basically a bunch of boys and a down-ass chick with her.
My question is, how is Jamal, other than the fact that he's sleeping with a man, from what we've seen on the show, tell me, and we're going to be stereotypical, give me some examples of traits that he has exhibited that's like a girl.
He's not in drag. He's not doing anything like that.
The only thing that I can reference as a baby, he had the heels on and so forth. Cookie went to jail,
right.
so
but as that's an excellent point.
Yeah.
But other than that, what other attributes, other than the fact that he's an artist, which they're all artists, he stands up to his dad, Hakeem. Ironically, if we want to go even in terms of like birth order, and I don't mean any disrespect to the youngest, but Hakeem being the baby is the most babyish. So let's take it away from gender roles for a second. He's the one who's like, Dad, why don't I have a video? Like, I need a video.
Yeah.
Dude, seriously, make an appointment like an actual artist if you think you're not getting this because you're Lucious's son. Ironically, he's not exhibiting any female-like qualities other than being emotional and possibly being an artist. Which again goes to V's point, Lucious was an artist. Anger and sadness are theoretically the same emotion. When you are screaming to be heard, like Lucious said when he did the interview, hip hop is a narrative of the oppressed. The oppressed means I cannot be heard. One of the things, again, kind of piggybacking on your statement, oftentimes in the Black community, not only are there myopic character views, there's also, in reality, myopic avenues for us to express ourselves. One of the ways that people are comfortable us expressing ourselves are being loud and being angry. Normally that anger really is sadness, but somehow if I come in this tenor,
that was a good tenor too.
Nobody listens to me.
Right.
Somehow this is not acceptable. For me to get upset at the treatment of another person, no one's listening. But if I go like this and I say you have to listen to me, then you have to listen to me. That's the only distinction. Lucious yells and Jamal whispers. It's the same emotion. Is it feminine or is it purely emotion that
I'm only defending him in the sense that once from the description that we saw of him as a kid, Cookie went to jail, and then it seems as if Lucious really stopped raising his kids.
Okay, well, and then in defense of what Sofia's saying, what I'm saying, he says, I'm a man. And to go back to what he's saying about, I don't know you, when did he try to get to know him? That's not Jamal's fault. That's your fault, because you put up this whole wall, this great wall of China. So you didn't try to get to know me, because whenever I tried to open myself up to you, you said, all I see is gay, 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 gay. What I love about this show, though, is we can see that his sexuality is not what defines him. He's way more than just gay. He is a full person. So why can't he see past the gay thing? So that's not, I'm sorry, I just can't defend Lucious, because that's not anything that Jamal should be apologizing for. Lucious needs to own up and try to get to know his son over time.
But Lucious didn't raise his kids. Bunky did. And they talked about that. Lucious wasn't in the picture. He was trying to make the money once Cookie got put away. So he wouldn't know his children. He doesn't really know.
Okay, well, I get what you're saying with that. But if he doesn't know his children, I'm just saying don't hate your son. Because he still is okay with Hakeem. He's still okay with Andre.
Because they're following his rules.
Yeah.
They're doing what he says.
Lucious is an ass, okay? He's an ass, and he wants things done his way. Yeah. So I'm defending him just in the sense of what I mentioned earlier, but I'm not saying that it's right.
Yeah.
But, okay, we have to move on. So now, the detective now is after the key witness, who happens to be this old
salty.
Old salty, this guy, and then once this goes into motion, then Lucious has his son Andre now go to City Hall to find the guy who is the lead witness. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, I just have to say Old Salty knows a lot of Bible verses. On another note,
but you know what, I also took it as maybe that was rhymes or lyrics that Lucious had back in his day. That's how I interpreted it.
And I could be wrong, I think someone on Twitter said it's Shakespeare.
Oh. Don't start me lying.
No, but really, and it probably was. But I think that's also what the show is doing. I think the show is showing that everyone has a narrative. Everyone has a rhythm to how they see the world, and I think that's also why it's not ironic that it was the cop who actually came back, because he didn't dismiss him solely because he was a homeless person on the street. He actually heard him because something resonated with what he said. I need to quickly go to Andre. Did his dad buy him his MBA? No, seriously. Did his dad buy his MBA? You went to business school. The entire premise of business school is strategy. You had one job, which was to make sure that the witness was not a problem. So you screw some deputy mayor, then I can't even talk about the wife.
Oh,
but
yes,
you
we
don't
can.
follow up simply because he's schizophrenic. That in of itself makes it worse. So that means that someone who is schizophrenic, who cannot be controlled, could be saying God knows what to God knows who in the middle of an IPO that was almost crashed because the genesis of the capital was built by drug money. Yes, I know he doesn't know his father killed Bunky, but again, do your job as the MBA, intelligent, business acumen, intelligent, art of war son that you should be, versus screwing some random deputy mayor
When the blinds open.
What I'm concerned about with Andre is his disorder, his bipolar disorder, affecting his mind. Because usually when he does something, it's very calculative. But now we see him very sporadic and doing things that his character usually doesn't because he's off his meds. I'm wondering.
The only reason I don't think so is his wife's reaction.
Yeah.
I mean,
because if in fact that wasn't normal behavior, she would have reacted differently. The fact that she was very aware of what he did and then they basically role played what he actually did, to me shows that he's not off his meds, or else she would have actually had an off your meds kind of conversation.
Yeah, and I don't think he's off his meds because in the last episode she punched him in the balls and took him and said, "You're gonna take your meds."
V, what did you think about that whole scene with Andre, his wife, the city, the mayor?
I think that he has the lion's blood in him. He's Lucious's son, so he has a dark side too.
That's exactly what I thought when he had sex with the mayor and then he role played with his wife, because it was almost a moment because Rhonda seems to be kind of like a tough woman when she appeared in the window. And she was like, "So, who you calling?" Like everything built up to where you felt like she was about to go off, and then boom! Now they appear to have like this open kind of a marriage.
And
so
she encourages his dark side.
yeah.
That's like, she's like the devil on his shoulder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whoever else is on his shoulder, I don't know, but she's definitely the devil on his shoulder. And she's
Rhonda-
close because they pillow talk. That's his wife.
Rhonda's there for that end goal. She wants that empire, and it reminds
She has
me.
an agenda.
Yeah.
Like everybody else on this
It
show.
reminds me of Frank and Claire
I totally
on House
agree
of
with you.
Cards.
I totally agree
Like
with
she
you
is
on
down
that.
for the count.
House of Cards. That's
She
what
will
I was
do-
telling my manager earlier.
She will do anything it takes, even put a bib on when she's doing her duties
Yep.
to make it happen.
I totally agree with you. She is Claire,
But
but not as smart. Not at all.
but
Definitely
Andre
not.
is definitely not Frank.
No.
Yeah, no.
Okay. And so let's go to Hakeem, because at the dinner, let's just go back to the dinner. Andre made this reference about how he's daddy's boy and he's going to get the empire. It doesn't matter whether or not if Jamal is more talented than you, because you're daddy's boy and you're going to get the inheritance. And then he gets the text from the character played by Naomi Campbell, and she pretty much says the same thing. What do you guys think about that?
About Naomi Campbell's character coming in and being this.
Well, what do you think about how Hakeem now feels a certain way because people are now in his ear saying that he's only going to get the inheritance because he's daddy's boy and it's not because of his talent? What do you guys think about that?
I think it's something that he's aware of. He feels entitled. I mean, that's his character. And he knows that, Jamal's just as talented as him. So if he does get the empire,
I think it's different though. I think he's finally starting to come to the realization that maybe he isn't as talented as he thought he was, because it seems like, from what we're seeing, it seems like he is the baby and he's nurtured and he started not really knowing his mom, all these different things. So because not knowing his mom, usually when you are don't have that one parent, you're overcompensating. And because he's never had that one parent, because he doesn't remember, they're always like, oh, you're gonna do great, Hakeem. Oh, everything, like you get an award for every single thing, like, you know, those children. So it's one of those things, I feel like. But Andre, with this thing, Andre, I feel, is one of the people telling him, but it was also that moment with Tiana in the second episode where he was like, do you not know who I am? And she's like, boy, like, get out of my face. When she saw him perform, yeah, but it's like one of those things where it's going to keep coming, where, especially since Jamal hasn't even tried to really get into the limelight, he's only been talking to his father and doing the small shows and stuff, but he hasn't actively been pursuing this career. Now that Jamal is, even if he's being pushed by Cookie, now that he's being pushed into this, now I feel like Jamal's like, okay, I got this. And he's still supportive of Hakeem, but Hakeem is showing support now, but I feel like that's about to switch real quick. Especially with, I love the way Andre said Hakeem. He's like, Hakeem!
I totally think that Andre is getting into his little brother's head because, again, it is about who's going to inherit the empire. Now, let's talk about this video shoot. Veronica did not like the fact that Tiana moved in on her camera time. I was a little surprised that Veronica and Tiana would do a song together. When I saw you come out, I was like...
Okay, can I have a fangirl moment for a second?
Yeah.
So I actually was like, oh, it makes perfect sense. Like, it's like a model crossing like the runway. Like, that's really what I thought it was. And then when she started singing, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense, because it's like Ulek Wek mixed with like Tina Turner, like Mad Max of the Thunderdome. Like, it was like that, the outfit and the hair and the style, little Grace Jones. Like, it seemed like she was a model. Like, if you listen to the lyrics, and it's that kind of like bad girl, rude girl, and I have to go on that Rihanna tip. Rihanna likes beautiful women. Why? Because, again, strength begets strength, right? I think the irony with this situation is, I think that their little tete shows that Tiana may not actually be as confident as we think she is, or as she presents herself to be. But having them both there as two strong, beautiful, sexy women made sense. And again, I really thought initially it was like a model walk, and then I was like, oh.
I disagree, because I actually thought that it was...
She's not a model walk?
No. I thought it was actually Veronica who felt a little insecure, because when you look at the scene, that girl didn't push you.
She pushed
Yes, she
her.
did.
No, she did not.
Her.
No, she did not, because
She pushed her. She acted like she fell back, but I think it's because she was out. She sings ballads, and her song, all of
was auto-tune.
Tiana's songs are like these pop kind of like auto-tune. You have her come through with these ballads, this big voice. She was jealous. She definitely pushed her. She went back and pushed her.
Yeah.
So there was
that whole scene. All of you guys are kind of right, but see, Veronica really knows who she is as an artist, as a singer. She takes it really seriously. So when Lucious put her in this video, kind of as a backdrop, a little bit, Veronica wasn't having it. She was like, why am I singing this song? Oh yeah, I'm about to kill this right now, you know? But Tiana didn't like that. That's how it is in the music industry. Girls, it's hard to get two divas together to really be on the same accord, because they feel like they're it, you know what I mean? So getting them together is kind of like, oh my God, that's so much conflict there. And I'm coming in on her song, kind of like going in. She didn't like that, so she absolutely pushed me.
Okay.
And I had an issue with it.
And so did your cousin / manager, who got
gosh.
his ass beat in the trailer.
Yeah.
Can I have a quick
cousin.
legal moment just for a second? And this isn't legal advice, it's just legal stuff. Seriously, any artists out there listening, if somebody makes you a promise and it's not actually in the contract, it's as if the promise never happened. Literally, all a contract is your recording contract is a memorialization of how you will do business with everyone you do business with. Do you hear me? So, no, seriously, I just need to have this moment. So when you are getting ready to paper your deal, don't use the lawyer who is paid by the record company. Don't use a lawyer who is recommended by the record company. Talk to the most intelligent professional person in your life and ask them for a recommendation. Also, don't use a lawyer who is a real estate lawyer. Get that lawyer to recommend someone who is an entertainment attorney.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense? know your business.
That is great advice.
Keep going. It's the only thing on this one.
Don't get your cousin as your manager
Right.
either.
No, that's a little different. That I actually don't disagree with, but I'll talk about it offline.
I
don't
actually
with.
disagree with that only because I know in the industry we tend to get people who have our best interests to represent us, but they don't know dilly squat about the actual business. But let's get into your business. What was the audition process like, and how did you become a part of the Empire show?
That was an amazing process. I am signed to Timberland, Epic Records. So when we started doing our, creating in the studio and all that stuff, I showed him my piece that I did called Race Jones. I was like, I gotta show you this, And I was sitting on it for about a year and a half, and I was scared to show him because I'm like, yo, once somebody sees this, I know something's gonna happen. Like, I don't know what, but I didn't want to do it prematurely, but I was like, okay, it's time. I showed Timberland, and he was like, yo, I have to show Lee this. He was like, I think that you'll be perfect for this show that he's doing on Fox. And I was like, okay, I was like, Lee Daniels, wow. I didn't get myself too hyped up because you all know that, people tell you things, it happens, sometimes it doesn't, whatever. I didn't marry to it, but I was like, wow, that's cool. Went on with my day. Lee got this video and immediately called my manager and was like, yo, I need her on this show. Went to, read for some parts, and, you see me here today.
Did they write your part in, or was that already a character?
Originally, it was
Wow.
supposed to be a girl group. And after Lee saw it, he was like, I just need this one.
Now, did you know you were going to be in the very first 2 minutes of the pilot?
It was talks of it. I didn't marry to it.
Yeah.
Because in big productions like this, things change on a daily basis. So I was like, that sounds cool. But when I was like, I'm going to know when I go to that premiere, the exclusive premiere for this show, I was like, I'm going to know. So when I saw myself on that screen, I said, they really did it. Yeah. So it was cool. It was a blessing.
Yeah.
A lot of us said when, the first time that you sung that part, we was like, oh, she killed it. And then Terrence's character wanted more and more and more. And we're all like, well, shoot. I mean, what else can she's like pitch perfect. Yeah. And so was that difficult for you to, I guess, hold back or to give more when you kept having to give more as the character?
Was it difficult? No, but as an artist, I know how to push myself and go to that place where you have to just submit and release. You have to do it. You have to be vulnerable to the music and to the situation. And I just took myself back to certain situations and I just let it out. That's what you have to do with music. You just have to let it out and be vulnerable. And that's what I did in the moment. And it's just what came out.
Can you let out us a song and just give me a little something, please?
Did you see her face? Like,
always ask.
What is love if it's not guaranteed? What is love if it just ups and leaves?
Lord have mercy.
I felt
sound
that
like
one.
it was in a studio.
Lord have mercy. Oh my gosh. That song is so powerful though.
Okay.
It is, and I give all props to straight up my brother from another mother. This is my a musical soulmate aside from Timothy Bloom, for real. Jim Beans wrote that song, and he wrote it from a place, I'm gonna tell you, that was so true. Yeah. And I just was so connected to this lyric, the lyrical content, and just the music sonically. I was just all the way connected. So that's why you get what you get. Because, me as an artist, anything that I do, I have to be connected to, and it has to be authentic. So shout out to Jim Beans on that one.
Can you tell us a little bit? You have some music coming out. You and Timbaland have something called Opera Noir, and then you have a single called Smile.
Yes.
So can you tell us about the single? When is it coming out?
Opera Noir is going to be like an atomic explosion when it hits the music scene. Timbaland, when we did this, it was in a place where even, the core team was like, we never seen this from him. The things in Opera Noir is going to really throw a bomb in the industry, especially with black culture and the black in black music, seriously. And I'm so proud of this piece, and I'm so proud of Timbaland because he went far and beyond. This is his best work to date, Opera Noir, and I'm proud of it. It's a collaborative effort between me and him, and I'm telling you, the Black Moses of music has come, honey. It is here. He took the old with the new, and he really put it together. Because if you think about it, Timbo is left of center, but he sets the bar and sets new tones for music when he really is in tune with what he's creating. So you're gonna get an amazing album. Amazing, especially with Smile. You'll hear it.
Okay, and there's another amazing album that's also coming out this year, and that's your solo stuff.
Oh my God.
Music is my boyfriend.
Music is my boyfriend. Music is my boyfriend is what's birthed out of Opera Noir. We did these 2 projects within a 3-month span of time. We were just in it, and we didn't stop. Tim was like, let's go. We about to do your album. Let's just keep on going. And I'm telling you, we were in that studio from like 7 at night to 12 in the morning. Like, it was on. And I'm so proud of this album. It's gonna change music for the better. I think that me and Timbo have the same ideals when it comes to music now. The feeling in music is not there. It's all about the feeling and touching the hearts and the souls of the people. When I turn on the radio, I just hear computers. I do not hear people's souls. I don't feel it. It's just not a balance. And we're gonna, like, I'm an advocate of that. It's cool to have the booty shaking and all of that. It's cool. But it has to be a balance. And I'm gonna make that balance. I'm gonna use my platform, and I'm not gonna let it use me. And I'm going to take advantage of this so I can touch the people again with the gifts that he gave me. God, meaning he.
Now, you're from LA, right?
Absolutely. South
So
Central.
it's
LA.
interesting. I find people who are from LA. Did you, growing up, like, have, because I know you want to be a singer. You always know you want to be a singer.
Yes.
Did you have like a different approach to it than somebody coming from the outside, since you were always not necessarily in the industry, but you were close to it?
What do you mean? Let me understand what you're saying.
So, for example, like, somebody come from the outside, from another city, we come to this city and somebody's like, oh, we're going to make it like this.
Oh.
So for you, since you are out here and you've always been out here, and you probably have friends who have tried, and you know how to navigate, did you approach it differently as far as your patience goes and waiting for that opportunity?
Well, you know what? Being from South Central and Hollywood, that's two different
things.
worlds. My family wasn't into the music. Like, I did not know how to approach it. The first studio I even went into was in Watts. That's not in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So it was so many different hurdles and, different people that came in my life, out of my life. It's a long story of how I got here. I had to move all the way to Atlanta just to get on. You know what I mean? So that's not it at all. I just had to stick with it. And patience, I'm gonna tell you, patience is like my first name when it comes to this industry, because you can't force anything. You can't force a square into a circle. Is that how they say it?
Yes.
And you just have to really just never give up, and just know that when your time comes, just take advantage of it. And the stars really just have to align. You can't force nothing in this industry, especially now. It's not, I mean, when you really want to have a career. Because, I went through so many wolves and sheep's clothing, and I'm going to tell you, when my story comes to play, you wouldn't believe how I got here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When was that big moment, though, that was like, I done made it. I made it. This is it. This is going to make my career.
The big moment.
It's that one moment that it's like, okay, this might be it.
It's strange because is it one moment? I don't know if it's one moment. It's like kind of a snowball effect over the years. I've been in the shadows for so long, and I know that people want to hear, like, what's that defining moment, but it's not. It's a number of moments. It's when I was with Babyface. It's when I was with CeeLo Green. It's when I was was in front of L.A. Reid, and that went ham. And now I came full circle, and now I'm back with L.A. Reid. Lee Daniels, Timberland. It's a conglomerate of things that can create the stage for you. Now, have there been bigger moments than others? Yes. Empire, of course. I mean, being a part of this whole thing is amazing, because the promotion and marketing behind this situation we call Empire is like astronomical.
Crazy.
You know what I mean?
That
So
was crazy.
I'm glad that this song even touched people the way that it did, because we did this song, me and Jim. Seriously, it wasn't even we didn't know the storyline. Lee was very secretive about that. So we was like, let's just go in the studio and just do something right quick, just so we can have something, So when we did the song, it was just based off of the stars aligning, really, and it fit what it was supposed to fit in the scene.
So being that your character was introduced as being a part of the label, obviously, and we saw more, are we going to see more of you in this season 1? You could tell us that now. Come on.
Yeah. No, you will.
Okay.
You'll see a lot from Veronica.
Okay, so
and this is only the beginning. Trust.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we want to thank you for just joining and sitting in with us on this after show. Let's go into predictions and then let's wrap up. All right.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Sofia Stanley.
I'll just reiterate, short and sweet, there is going to be a division between Cookie and Jamal.
Okay.
Because Jamal, there can be only one. Literally.
Okay. Miss Lina.
From that last scene of the show when Jamal's like, I'm finna take the empire, you can tell Jamal finna take that empire. I'm gonna just say that. He finna take that empire.
For me, I think that Hakeem is gonna need therapy, and I will. The only thing I'll say, since we didn't touch on it, you my mama.
You so funny. You so wrong for that. Y'all crazy.
That part made me grow.
Oh my Lord.
Wow. I don't have a prediction, but
You don't have one prediction.
no. I don't have a prediction.
too early, huh?
It's a little too early, and plus we run out of time. But I don't have a prediction. But what I can predict is that we're gonna come back next week, and you guys can tune in to AfterBuzz TV for Empire. We want to thank you so much. Let everyone
you
know.
guys for having
Let
me.
everyone know right here in the camera where you could be found on social media.
That girl V_ Twitter, V Bozeman Instagram. Please speak to me, and I will speak to you.
All right. And so where can you guys be found on social media?
At Sofia Stanley.
At just Lina Green.
At Emile Ennis Jr. and Chasing LA on YouTube.
And at Bamm Ericsen on all social media. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode here at Empire for AfterBuzz TV,
You guys
season
are
1.
everything. You guys are everything.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.